So I've kept it no secret on this channel that Halo Reach is one of my favorite games of all time, and on some days even my favorite in the series. The story, while not great, I still really enjoy. The gameplay changes I didn't have a huge problem with, Forge was incredible, and I still find the multiplayer really fun and can go back and play it any day. However, there's one mode that I have such good memories of that I still can't forget to this day, and that's going to be Firefight. Firefight was originally introduced in ODST, but Bungie truly elevated it here and made it an incredible addition to the Halo series. So for today's Halo Retrospective review, I want to take a look at Halo Reach's Firefight mode and see everything it did right and the little it did wrong. We can also look at how it can hopefully be implemented in Halo Infinite and future 343 games, and why their previous Firefight attempts have failed. Sorry if this review is a little bit shorter than the others I've done like Warzone and Spartan Ops, but there's really just not as much to talk about with Firefight since it's really just one core mode, but I will try and talk about a lot of what I find so enjoyable about it. So without waiting any longer, let's get into it. So there are actually a surprising amount of people who don't know that Firefight was originally introduced in Halo 3 ODST. It wasn't a super original idea at the time, but something that the series could definitely benefit from, and when we got our hands on it, it was awesome. It was about what you would expect from a wave-based Halo survival mode, but it was really cool and I still vividly remember my first time playing and just having so much fun. However, I didn't play ODST too much around that time, and really just in general, so when we got the trailer announcing that it would be returning in Halo Reach as this Firefight 2.0 version, I was really looking forward to it, and since then it has cemented itself as an incredibly fun time in the Halo series. So just what makes Halo Reach's Firefight so good and fun in my opinion? Well, it is worth noting that obviously if you don't enjoy Reach's gameplay, you're probably not going to enjoy the mode. It seems like in the last few years I've been hearing more and more negative things being said about the gameplay changes in Reach. I definitely understand many of the multiplayer related ones, such as the introduction of armor abilities, like armor lock and different weapon balancing stuff, but in general it never really hurt the game too much for me. So yeah, the simple boring gameplay loop kind of a Firefight stays mostly fun, I would say. Not really boring, but it does stay really fun, and I'd be lying if I said it doesn't get a little bit tedious after shooting Covenant for just 40 minutes straight, but it does mostly do a good job of keeping it interesting, and yeah, again, the gameplay for Reach in my opinion is just really entertaining. So let's discuss what they actually added to this version of Firefight, which is all the important stuff. The main addition was all of the customization and in turn all of the game modes that arrived with this mode. Unlike ODST where there was really only one main Firefight mode, Reach's Firefight is filled with a nice variety of pre-made ones that depending on who you are you'll probably find something for you to enjoy. The base ones include things like Classic Firefight, Generator Defense, which is actually cool because you have an objective, and Gruntpocalypse, which is exactly what it sounds like. Versus is a unique cool idea that they introduced, and Score Attack also has a strange sense of satisfaction that goes along with it. All those modes are great, and they all would be great by themselves, but of course the appeal of this Firefight mode to most people is the absolutely insane level of customization, like I already mentioned. It's ridiculous really how much you can change everything about this game mode, including the times of everything, the specific enemies of each wave and round, the skulls that are on, the loadouts, the base traits, the lives. Just every single facet is customizable and really allows you to craft the perfect Halo survival mode for you. And really I'd say that there's two main ways that this Firefight is typically played. Either you have a really serious, sweaty, kind of competitive match either by yourself or with friends, or it's on Legendary, and you have limited lives and that type of thing, or you turn on Bottomless Clip and give yourself like a fuel rod gun and a rocket launcher and boost all your base traits up and just run around and blow everything up. Both have their time and place and are really fun depending on the mood you're in, and I will say that the Lone Wolf-esque matches that you'll be playing are awesome and a nice change of pace for the Halo series. And like I said, that applies to most rounds you'll be playing through. I really love the bonus rounds as well, as it just turns into a last-ditch effort to gain as many points as possible, and always ends up just being complete chaos by the end. After you die also, the camera goes into this kind of free mode, and it's just awesome watching your friends try to survive the all-out assault and gain as many points as possible. The element of gradually adding skulls to each round is also really appreciated, since it just keeps things fresh and makes it increasingly more challenging. Something else that I just sort of took for granted were the enemy spawns. It's so frustrating in Halo 4 and 5 how you try to plan out your attacks just in campaign or multiplayer, Warzone, whatever, against the Prometheans, but thanks to their instant teleporting ability, you never really know what's going to happen. It also just comes across as kind of lazy game design when enemies unfairly spawn out of nowhere. Thankfully in this Firefight mode, however, the Covenant will, I'd say 8 times out of 10, spawn in Phantoms or dropships, so you can actually see them coming. You will still get the occasional lazy enemy spawns where they just come out of nowhere, but it is significantly better than in the later games. The mode also just kind of gives you a sense of freedom with your actions. Unless it's an objective mode like Generator Defense, you're pretty much just there to kill stuff, so they allow you to attack how you want and even steal enemy vehicles and just whatever you want to do. Again, I know that's not surprising, but it's just cool how committed this mode was to being a fun arcade Halo mode. One annoyance I did run into constantly was of course the return to battlefield message, that's just kind of infamous in Halo games. Even if I was genuinely just trying to find somewhere to get into cover. Reach has these beautiful environments, and to have so much of it blocked off to the player was incredibly frustrating and something that I'm sure could be improved if the game was made today. The medals and points always popping up on the screen give you a sense of feeling of satisfaction, and overall everything about the main Firefight modes, either you decide to play by yourself or even couch co-op, is amazing. But of course Bungie did make one more significant addition to Reach's multiplayer by allowing online matchmaking. So like I already mentioned, ODST's Firefight was awesome, but with Reach, introducing matchmaking so you could find other players online to play Firefight with was game changing. I've had so many fun memories of playing with my friends or just even randoms and meeting random people online and competing to see who can get the highest score in Firefight. There was also a really different sort of dynamic than playing offline. As I mentioned before, playing a really serious lone wolf survival type mode is really cool. However, it is also awesome to make your final stand with your teammates you get and actually feel like your noble team. There were a nice variety of different game modes and most were pretty fun to play. However, I will get into some of the negatives with them in a second. But discussing the modes themselves, the most well known is probably Arcade Fight, which is really cool. You have unlimited lives and a nice selection of super chaotic loadouts to choose from, with every sort of weapon from the plasma launcher to the fuel rod cannon, and even the energy sword. It's just pure fun, even if it does start to drag a little bit towards the end of the rounds. There were also modes like Firefight Limited with a certain amount of lives, which was fun, and tons of others that aren't really worth going into, like Fiesta Fight, Plasma Fight, and more. However, there's one big problem, which is Reach's voting system. This is a pretty commonly known issue that's been complained about a bunch for the last 8 years, but every time you play Firefight you'll typically see the same 3 modes pop up every single time, and 99% of the time Arcade Fight will get chosen to play. Once again, I think the mode's very fun, but playing it over and over and over again sucks, and you end up missing out on the other cool modes. It's not a huge deal to me since you can just set up your own matches with your friends by yourselves, but if you're alone and really on the matchmaking, I'm sure it sucks. Plus, you don't get as many credits and XP playing custom matches, so either way, the inclusion of online matchmaking was huge, and another reason why this game's Firefight was so awesome, but it can't really ignore all the significant problems that come just with Reach's voting system, and kind of the pains that come with playing others online. I really enjoy most of the maps that they have for Firefight, even if they're all pulled from the campaign. I know it's lazy, but there's still a nice variety, and it never pulled me out of it. Plus, they also added awesome maps later like Installation 04 that are completely awesome and a blast to play on. The addition of the different Firefight voices was also really unexpected, and just the coolest thing when I was younger, having Master Chief's voice, which was a huge deal, and just like in most of Halo Reach's modes, they also implemented challenges to encourage replayability, and that of course was a great move, since just by Firefight's nature it does start to get a little bit repetitive after a while. It is worth noting that the mode probably could have been improved if Bungie had added more objectives just for a little variety, and more creative unique maps. But besides that, I think the mode is awesome, and it is worth congratulating Bungie on what a great job they did with this mode, especially the customization. And that's about all I have to say for Halo Reach's Firefight. It's fantastic. I understand why some don't like it, but I do believe that Bungie accomplished what they set out to do, and there's very few similar modes in games even today that match this level of customization and quality. Make sure to let me know what you guys think about Halo Reach's Firefight down in the comments below, and don't forget to save and subscribe to MajesticGaming for all videos on Halo related things in the future, Halo Infinite, Halo action figures, anything Halo, and let me know what you guys thought about the video. Thank you all for watching, Majestic Gaming.